Welcome to your Daily Dopamine with Dr. Joe McCullough, where we deliver daily doses of education, entertainment, and inspiration. So sit back, relax, and get ready to be dopamine, Oh yeah.
All right, let me turn this around and start the... Hey there, welcome. Hey, named Marcus, welcome. My name is Joe, and today we are talking about how to double your reading speed. Woohoo! Hit the "that was easy" button.
That was easy.
Oh, yes. If you don't have one of these, it's such a really great little dopamine kick. I use this in my classroom. I have one in my office at school, and I have one at my office at home. Anytime you just do something good, give yourself a little reward.
That was easy.
It's good stuff. Okay, so let me tell you what we're doing. Hopefully I'm going to keep this to about 10 or 15 minutes. I'm going to give you 5 simple strategies to help you double your reading speed. And let me be specific. I'm not talking about reading 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 words a minute. There's some evidence that you can't really read that fast and have really good comprehension. So what I'm talking about is taking your reading speed. The average reading speed for most adults is about 200 to 250 words per minute. Hey there, Diane. Welcome. I'm talking about changing your reading speed, doubling it from about 200, 250 to 400 to 500 words per minute. Am I frozen? I hope not. Silver Lining 788. Somebody let me know, am I still frozen? If so, then I will restart the broadcast. You're good on my end. Okay, great. So let me first, nope, not frozen, looks okay. Okay, so let me first give you the 5 barriers to reading faster, and pretty much speed reading is all about eliminating these barriers. So the very first barrier is sub-vocalization. What sub-vocalization means is, lots of comments. I can't act frozen on my end. Sorry about that, Disney nerd. Sub-vocalization means saying the words to yourself internally as you read along. And the reason this limits your reading speed is because most people speak comfortably at about 150 words per minute. Auctioneers might go up to 300-400 words per minute. But if you're reading along in your head, if you're sub-vocalizing as you're reading, your reading speed is going to be limited to how quickly you can talk, at least internally. Second big barrier to Disney nerd, try leaving and coming back. Yes. Second big barrier to reading faster is reading one word at a time, called fixation. Now, if you look at somebody's eyes while they read, they have this jerky back and forth movement called saccadic movements. And then they fixate on a word or group of words, and then they read it in and take it in and comprehend it. Now, that whole process takes about a quarter second, which means you can only really fixate 4 times a second, 240 times a minute. Which means if you're only reading one word at a time, your reading speed is going to be limited to about 200, 250 words per minute. Okay, third barrier to reading faster is called regression. It's going back and rereading words or phrases that you have already read. All of us do it. I'm going to give you some strategies about how to overcome that. 4, these are the big 3. So eliminate these and you can pretty much double your reading speed. So again, 1, sub-vocalization, saying the words to yourself internally as you read along. 2, reading one word at a time. 3, rereading. These 2 also are barriers. Number 4, reading in a non-optimal state. So most dyslexia, yes, that's definitely a barrier. Excuse me, I'm a little hoarse. So reading in a non-optimal state, all athletes, musicians, people know the importance of warming up your body, warming up your vocal cords or something like that before a big performance, a big game. Not many people think about warming up their brain before they study or even before they read. So getting in an optimal mental, emotional, and physical state before you read will not only increase reading speed, it'll also increase comprehension. And then the 5th and final barrier to reading faster is not using your peripheral vision. I'm going to talk about how you can start to train the eye to take in words in your peripheral vision, and that way you'll be able to read chunks of 3 or 4 words at a time, speed up your reading speed. Okay, let me pause For those of you joining late, my name is Joe. I'm the physics program chair at Cabrillo College in Santa Cruz, California, and I'm scoping daily on education, entertainment, and inspiration. Today I'm hoping to educate and inspire you to read faster. We're talking about how to double your reading speed. I just went through the 5 barriers to reading faster. Now let's talk about 5 simple strategies to double your reading speed. Woo, woo. Let's do it. Very first one is prepare your state. Whoever's giving me all the pink hearts, thank you so much. I love that little stream of hearts. Prepare your state, mental, emotional, and physical. In a later scope, I'm going to have to do this soon because I've referred to it many times. I'm going to talk about the alpha state. Alpha state is the optimal brainwave state to be in for studying, for learning, anytime you really need to focus. And there's a process I lead my students through. It's like a 30-second relaxation process called the alpha state process. Not going to teach it now, but in terms of preparing your state, a couple things to think about. Do not read if you're physically exhausted. It's hard to take in information and comprehend it if you can barely keep your eyes open. So if you have to read and you're tired, think about getting some kind of aerobic exercise, get the heart pumping blood to the brain. It's going to increase your comprehension. 2, emotional and mental. Think about just doing a quick little relaxation process, just 30 seconds before you sit down to study. Could be as simple as just sitting up straight, taking a deep breath, and just thinking about someplace that makes you feel good. Okay, 2, sub-vocalization, eliminate it. So let me actually talk about 2 and 4. So 1, we want to eliminate sub-vocalization. 4, we want to read in chunks of 3 to 4 words. And let me give you a great tool that'll help you do both. It is called Spriter.com. It's like speeder except with an R, S-P-R-E-E-D, E-R.com. And let me show you what you can do with it. So in Spriter.com, what you can do is cut and paste text into a box here. Let me go settings. I'm going to set this to 200 words per minute, 1 word at a time. And so what it's going to do is flash text to you at 200 words per minute, 1 word at a time. Now this is the average reading speed of most people. Now let's pause this, go back, and now I'm going to set it to 500 words a minute, and I'm going to have it flash 3 words at a time. Now we'll do the same thing, and that didn't work because I didn't hit save. All right, now let's do it again. Now it's flashing groups of 3 at 500 words per minute. Now, one way to prevent sub-vocalization is to actually force yourself to read faster than you can say internally the words. So what I'd like to do is cut and paste text into this application and read at about 600 words per minute in groups of 3. And what you'll find is that as you practice this, reading in groups of 2 or 3 or 4 words actually becomes easier than reading 1 word at a time. And if you set it to 600 or 700 or 800 words per minute, then you can't really talk internally at that rate. So another website that's similar to it is called Accelerator. And again, it does the same thing. It flashes words to you. You cut and paste into the text. What other benefits are there to increasing reading speed? Great. Let me actually pause for a second and just touch on speed reading. Now, again, I think I'm talking about doubling your reading speed from 2 to 4 or 500 words per minute. Now, I don't think you can speed read a technical document. I don't think you can speed read a physics or math textbook. I don't think you can speed read something that has a lot of equations or technical information. So I'm talking about speed reading books that have lots of text. I speed read for pleasure if I'm reading science fiction or something like that. But if I have to read something that I'm researching or have to really take in and comprehend and think about the information, then I don't try and read faster than 300-ish words per minute. So I don't think you can speed read everything. I'm giving you strategies to help you go from about 200 to 400 to 500 words per minute. So what we talked about first, preparing your state, getting in the optimal mental, emotional, and physical state, and then eliminate subvocalization. Great way to do that is to start training yourself to read faster than you can actually keep up internally as you're saying words to yourself. And reading in chunks of 3 to 4 words can do that. The website I recommended is called Spriter.com. You cut and paste text into it. You tell them how many words that you want to see at one time and how quickly you want to read. Okay. Third one, use a visual guide. This helps prevent the saccadic movements of the eye, that jerky back and forth motion. A visual guide is usually just a finger or a book, not a book, a finger or a pen that you're using to guide your eyes. Let me turn this around and show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's say I was trying to read this book. A visual guide, I would use my finger and I would put it under the word that I'm trying to read, and then I would scan my finger across to the right to go back to the beginning of the next sentence and read that way. And that's going to prevent your eyes from bouncing back and forth as much, prevent some of the saccadic movements and fixations. And the other great thing is you can control the speed at which you're reading. If you want to read slow, you move your finger slow. If you want to move faster, read faster, you can move your finger faster. I've also seen people use an index card, and then they can just move the card down as they're going. So while we're here, let me just touch on using your peripheral vision, which is the last one. Now, if I start my visual guide here, the very first word of each sentence, then some of my peripheral vision is over here looking at the blank part of the page. If instead, when I'm using a visual guide, I start at the second or third word, then my peripheral vision will be looking at after we, and then I can actually, when I'm reading, start at the third word, end at the second or third to last word. And then my peripheral vision can get the word on either side. So how I would use my finger as a visual guide and take into account peripheral vision is I would start maybe on have, sweep, stop maybe on the, and then go back, start on accelerated, maybe end on information. What I'm not doing is starting on the first word, ending on the last word. Okay, let me turn this around again. All right, so what I want to do is just quickly review the 5 strategies and then see if there are any questions. I got my cards spread everywhere. Hold on one second. Okay, so the very first strategy is prepare your state. Think about not reading if you're exhausted or mentally feeling anxious and really not in a positive state. Your time is better spent getting into a happy, upbeat state where you're actually excited to read. 2, eliminate subvocalization. If you talk to yourself internally as you're reading, if you say the words to yourself, your reading speed is going to be limited to something like 200, 250 words per minute. Are you in Mensa? No, I am not. Thank you for asking. Use a visual guide. I recommend using your finger, and then what you're doing is just scanning under the word that you're trying to read. 4, read in chunks of 3 to 4 words. A great way to train yourself is using Spriter.com. You can train yourself to start reading in blocks of 3 or 4 words. Not only does this improve reading speed, it also improves comprehension because we understand the meaning of phrases as groups of words together, not as individual words. And then 5th and last, use your peripheral vision. When you're using a visual guide to guide your eyes, you want to start at the first, not the first word, the second or third word. Use your peripheral vision to read the first, and then as you're scanning along, you stop not at the last word, but the second or third to last word. Use your peripheral vision to read the outliers. Now, this will take some practice, but these 5 simple strategies can definitely help you double your reading speed. So if you're reading for pleasure, give it a try. Try using a visual guide. Try reading in chunks of 3 or 4 words. Try getting into an optimal state before you sit down to read. Okay, that's it. Hey, I think I actually kept it to 15 minutes this time. Seems like a great brain exercise too. Yes, I definitely agree it's a great brain exercise. And actually, at some point, I think I want to talk about brain exercises, because lumosity and things like that, now it's $1 billion industry, and there's not a whole lot of evidence showing that doing these exercises has a lot of transfer into outside activities. What am I a doctor of? I have a PhD in physics. I teach physics at Cabrillo College in Santa Cruz, California. Okay, thank you for joining. Any questions I can answer on speed reading, how to double your reading speed? Thank you. You're so welcome. Okay, so my name is Joe. I made a commitment to get on Periscope every single day for an entire year and share daily doses of dopamine. Great scope. Why, thank you. Tomorrow, Saturday, I'm not sure. I feel I might lose comprehension. Is that true? Great question. The answer is possibly. You have to figure out how quickly you can read and still comprehend what you're reading. So I taught this to teenagers, and I had some teenagers that at the end, they were reading 600, 700, 800 words a minute, but their comprehension dropped a lot. And in that case, you're reading too fast, and then you can slow down. Think about it. It does you no good reading if you can't remember what you read. Welcome. Thanks. What's on the schedule for tomorrow? Tomorrow I have a busy day, so what I think I'm going to do is just show you a quick little magic trick. I don't think I'm going to teach it, but it's a really cool one that I'm going to do with my class next week. And if you like it, I'll tell you where you can get it. Gaming with Max 10, thanks for joining, but we are just about to wrap it up. Smart doctor and sexy too. Oh, why, thank you, thank you. Okay, any final questions about speed reading? Going once, going twice, sold for no dollars. Okay, my name is Joe. Yes, you have a question. I'll hang out for 10, 9, Laura, David, joined. What happened to Evelyn Wood? Great question. That reading system was super duper duper popular a bunch of years ago, and the popularity has dropped a bit. I think people are starting to realize that you can't really read 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 words per minute and really understand and comprehend the way that you could if you're reading 500 or 600. So I don't know the system in depth, but in essence, she was using her finger as a visual guide, using a lot of these same techniques. Any speed reading course you take, for the most part, and I haven't taken a bunch or anything like that, but I've gone through a bunch of sites, they're all teaching the same basic stuff. It's get rid of subvocalization, read in chunks of 3 or 4 words, start using a visual guide. It's all the same. So give those a try. If you're tuning in late, check out the replay. Tomorrow I'll show you a quick little magic trick. And yeah, have an awesome weekend. Thank you, everybody. My name is Joe. Hope to see you later.